And finally, last question. Tens of thousands of people in Massachusetts are on waiting lists for basic education, ESOL, and skills training. Will you propose an $8 million increase in adult basic education in your first budget as governor, and with support increasing it further in subsequent years based on state revenues? This increase will help thousands of people to get basic education and English proficiency needed to get better paying jobs and become the skilled workers that we know that employers need desperately.
Yeah, the answer to that question is yes, but with only 6% of the known need served with the current resources, I think we all ought to ask ourselves whether $8 million is the magic number or whether it's going to be something else over time. I will tell you that it was an ABE program that made it possible for my mother to get her GED when I was a kid. And through that GED to get a job that got us off of public assistance. She ultimately got a job in the post office. So I understand how transforming access to ABE and ESOL programs can be for people. I understand that from my own life. But I do think with some well over 400,000 people waiting today for opportunities to get their GEDs and to get skills training for job opportunities, then it is a fair question to ask whether $8 million is enough, is the right number, and how we build to the right number over time.
And so you are not sure whether that is too much because of the bureaucracy or not enough? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I guess my suspicion is that it's not enough. I mean, I'm happy to commit to the $8 million because that's the question you asked. But with the numbers of people waiting, and that representing about 6% of the known need, leaving aside the fact that there are people who would take advantage of an ABE program, for example, if they knew there was an ABE program. I'm just not sure that $8 million is going to be ultimately enough.
And where do you suspect that you will find this money to put into these programs?
Well, I've put out a plan to see to capture greater efficiencies in the current administration. There are things we're doing that we don't have to do. There are things that we do that we should do that we don't do, for example, like better enforcement of Medicaid fraud and enforcement of the wage and hour laws, which cost us hundreds of millions of dollars a year. I also believe that we ought to take the surplus in the current budget and wait before we roll back the income tax to 5% and fund some of these unmet needs, and ABE and ESOL is one of them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick, and now you have 2 minutes for your closing remarks.
Well, thank you, Janet, and thanks to all the sponsors and all the participants for being a part of this today. You're very efficient with the timing, so I'll try. There are really 3 points that I want to get across. The first is the importance of better alignment between our economic development initiatives and the workforce development initiatives. That is, as we think about and focus on the sectors that we want to build and can build that play to our strengths here in Massachusetts, and I think alternative renewable energy technologies is one of them and an example of them, then we need to build into that how it is we create the opportunities for people, our people, to be ready for those jobs. And that is all about how we bring together business and sector focus with the folks who are doing workforce development. I think we can better leverage the resources we have. We need to change the funding formula, for example, for community colleges, so that when they provide certificates, or so that they can provide certificates for workforce development training without being penalized or facing financial disincentives to do so. And I do believe it's important to support ABE and ESOL opportunities because that makes opportunity real for people, and I know that from my own life. Like I said, chance comes to the well-prepared. That's not my line. That was the line of Louis Pasteur. And I've had some wonderful, wonderful chances in my own life. But I have been prepared for those chances through opportunities in education, through opportunities through work, summer job opportunities, opportunities to get to know people and understand how they live their lives and what their work lives are like, so that I can begin to expand my imagination about what's possible. And this is something we have to do, not just for kids from the south side of Chicago who get that odd break, that unusual break, to come to a place like Milton Academy, but for all of us. Everybody has a stake, and everybody counts. And I'm glad to be with you. Thank you very much. Thank you.